Cancer, hi, Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, please do go ahead and check out the description box below, where you will find links to my Facebook page and my website address with a little bit more information about the work that I do as an intuitive energy healer on the channel, which is dedicated to empaths, intuitives, and sensitives. You're going to find fortnightly and monthly readings. Unique to Instagram, you will find the weekly quick reads, okay? So they won't be featured on the channel. You'll only see the fortnightly and monthlies up here. So head on over to the Instagram page where I put up each week the quick reads as an energy check-in for each zodiac, all right? So by all means, with your readings, they apply to Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury signs, whatever the case may be. Check out the links below to generate your own free natal chart to discover a little bit more about the multidimensional aspects of you, because you are more than just your sun sign of Cancer. I like to go a little bit in depth with what I call my soul ascension healings and readings, okay? It's essentially, and a lot of the work that I do is primarily about bridging mainstream and soul, merging 5D with 3D. After all, what's the point of knowing higher consciousness, being in contact with our stronger intuition, if you like, as empaths and intuitives, if we're not using that and integrating that in the everyday realities that we find ourselves in? Perhaps that is the struggle of the journey, is that integration, so that there is enjoyment in the everyday. That is my goal with and my intentions for all of my readings and healings, to provide awareness, activation, but more importantly, connecting you into what you already know intuitively, okay? We're moving out of old paradigms where we're constantly seeking approval and assurance outside of ourselves, and stepping more into genuine, authentic empowerment, where we're honoring the voice within. So that's all this is. That's all my healing work is essentially about, is connecting you into your higher self, okay? And so that you feel more empowered with your will and choosing each and every day. All right, my lovely Cancers, let's check in and do a cosmic recap. If you have a look at the other readings on the channel, you will see that I've been covering the planetary retrogrades, okay? So we've got 6 planets in retrograde in June, but technically I'm going to say 5, simply because there's only a 1 or 2 day difference. These planets in retrograde are taking us through the timeline. We're going back to original blueprint in many ways. How did we learn how to love? What is our love language? What is our experience with intimacy and connection? More importantly, what rules have we been told to live by in the realms of connecting, in the realms of going for our achieving growth and going for opportunity, or retracting from it, okay? It's all about love and fear. It's all about freedom and oppression, and that amplifies this month, okay? We're going to be seeing that with the Pluto and Jupiter quincunx with the Sun. We're going to be amplifying all this introspective energy that May and June have primarily been for. We're wanting that energy out now with Mercury going retrograde. We're going to be finding ourselves making claims, making statements, deciding, okay? And sure, this energy can come out as a rush. We will see endings as well as beginnings. We will sit in the discomfort of the in-between, Cancer. More importantly still, you guys are the 0 point stars of the show in many ways, okay? Because you are closing an ecliptical cycle. This is your final solar eclipse, and it arrives on solstice on the 21st at the same time as a new moon in Cancer. Make no mistake, Cancer, everything you have been through, specifically in the last 2.5 years, wraps up. If they don't align, they will never align. If they do not resonate, they will never resonate. And gone are the days where you are playing your same old role. It's great to see some empowering energy come through from a lot of the Cancer collectives that I've been doing readings for in the last couple of months. There are definitely endings and beginnings, whole new ways of seeing self, opportunity, path, purpose, as is the case with all of the zodiacs. But this is about you wrapping up the master lessons that you have been integrating in the last 2 years, which is huge, with a new moon in your sign at 0 degrees in Cancer. This is that clean slate that you have fundamentally worked so hard for, subconsciously, emotionally, mentally. Name your thing. It's pretty safe to say that probably all of the Cancers that I would be doing readings for that are connecting into this message have noticed a fundamental shift in themselves in the last 2.5 years. And the remnants of the deep ways and old ways of doing things, being, connecting, whatever the case may be, experiences in love, connection, okay, boundaries, nurture, and your relationship with that. You are great nurturers. It's quite another thing altogether to nurture self, honor boundaries, yeah? A lot of the Cancers I've been connecting into will have been able to say that the last 2 years have been very prominently soul shaping, okay? Or at least remembering, because it's a remembrance, Cancer. All right, my dears. Now, we've also got Mercury sextiling Uranus towards the end of the month, which is going to be a great time to really reconcile differences. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean taking on that typical compassionate crowd personality where you're allowing behaviors, okay? It's respectful to have differences. Perhaps there's more of a chance for Cancers to see that their differences are going to be respected. And if anything is the case, it will be a boundary line nonetheless, appreciating and understanding that people primarily are different and they travel their own path. You don't have to travel it for them, Cancer. We're also going to be seeing an expansion, okay, of Jupiter conjuncting Pluto. There's going to be an expansion of love and luck. Now, take that however it resonates. It's a beautiful, abundant time. And that frequency, as is many frequencies, is always available to everyone to tap into, okay? But Cancer, this is your time to genuinely let go, level up, okay? Like fully in many ways. It's beautiful abundance energy if and when you so choose to tap into this, all right? But we're definitely closing up the last 2.5 years. So let's take a look and see what your message is from the Secret Language of Light, your theme card, as we do your final 2 weeks of June awakening. Now, isn't awakening such an experience? Number 2. 2 is the number of polarity. 2 is the number of partnership. 2 is the number of divine partnership, coming into alignment with the other. Very big themes around connectivity and awakening to new ways in which to do so, a new way in which to experience polarity, the other side, the other half, the higher self and the human self. Look at this beautiful gold light. This is the frequency that is available to us when we awaken to greater consciousness, Cancer, greater realization of self, purpose, of all things that have come before, okay? Pain, betrayals, lessons, wisdom, love, everything has been of purpose to awaken us to the next level of ourself. Your theme is awakening. The many Cancers I'm connecting into, you are awakening into that next level of your spiritual journey, okay? Like I said, go back and check the other readings for June. There's been a hotbed of retrograde activity. We really are resetting subconsciously held, ingrained beliefs that were given to us, handed to us by society, family values. You know, to live in fear or to live in love is two different energies. We're awakening to something else. After mastering lessons, Cancer, you are eclipsing everything and anything that no longer aligns, okay? Let's see what the tarot wants to say, my love. Such beautiful golden frequency there. I'm throwing cards. I knew it would be a good reading day because I'm feeling the energy and I'm throwing cards. I want to put that one out. That's the 7 of Cups. Okay. Two sevens. Get these guys out of the way. Wow. Everyone's getting the Lovers card this month because we are in Gemini season. Four of Coins underneath the deck. Underneath all of this, whether it's an obvious energy or a subtle energy, Cancer, is the desire to hang on to something, okay? Whether that's you, whether that's another. I will also call this control energy. Only because I'm picking up a theme here, okay? There's been options recently. Now, take this however it resonates, whether you are wrapping up a theme that pertains to this message across the last 2.5 years, whether the final 2 weeks of June, okay, so the 15th to the 30th applies to this. There's been options here and perhaps a sense of disillusionment in many ways when it comes to the emotional body. These are options, yes. How do I handle this? How do I go about this? How do I tackle this? I'm wanting a sense of closure, an ending when the Justice card shows up. However, this was more about spiritual wisdoms. I've got 2 sevens here right near each other, and I'll explain the next one soon. There were 2 sevens here, okay? Spiritual principles, spiritual ideology, spiritual integration, a spiritual perspective of handling something that required your decision. A decision has been made, okay? Whether that was forced, whether that was instigated by you, okay? There is an ending here. This is a separation card. This is a karmic ending. In the realms of feeling indecisive is what I'm feeling here. Okay, underneath all of this, Cancer, take a look. Now, let's not be shy of the challenging cards. This is the 7 of Coins and the 7 of Cups. Now, when we're dealing with the 7 of Swords energy, okay, yeah, the gentle word here is strategy. There's a strategy to things. People can be strategic, and they need to be strategic. They choose to take what only they need before they sort of move on to the next thing. The dark side of the 7 of Swords, okay, is, I call it my narcissist card. It is shifty. It is deceptive behavior. It is lies. It's betrayal. It's selfishness, okay? Whether we feel we have to behave like that, Cancer, as a method of self-protection, okay? More importantly, what I'm going to say, there's an ending here. There's an ending here of trying to decide which pathway, response, choice, option is the best way in which to get clarity on this. Because look at all this yellow, okay? Whether you're dealing with a personality that sort of imbues that, whether you've had the last 7 years, I'm even going to go back as far as 7 years for some Cancers, okay? The last 3 years are significant. There's an ending here, okay, of feeling emotionally overwhelmed when it comes to the best strategies of how to deal with selfishness, lies, betrayal. Okay, this is someone taking only what is theirs, and more so, they're actually doing it without people knowing, okay? So that's that selfishness energy, and now here we are feeling emotionally overwhelmed by that, you know. Quite practically speaking, there's a karmic ending here. You have eclipse. There is a potential for you to truly eclipse this energy and how it fundamentally makes you feel out of your life completely. Sometimes we have to be strategic, Cancer, when we're dealing with this energy we know, any number of things are at play that weigh in on our emotional body. Sometimes for survival mechanisms, we feel we have to allow or have to be strategic on some level when dealing with this confusing energy. But there is a spiritual lesson here for you. And look, I'm going to be quite basic. It's fundamentally about boundaries. It's fundamentally about you dealing and integrating a mastery, a spiritual wisdom when it comes to your emotional body. Okay? Activating that 7th chakra, if you like, or that 7th level of being where you are open. Your crown is open to receiving a new way of seeing something, experiencing something. You are awakening to the truth of how much this has impacted you, how much you have allowed. More importantly, how much you've allowed this in your life. This energy, this confusing energy that ultimately impacts your emotional body, and thus perhaps makes you feel like you have to operate in some sort of strategic survival mode to hold the balance of all of these emotional options here. That's a big one. Because when this card shows up, Cancer, you are done. The lesson has been learned. There is a karmic ending here. Okay, this dynamic can get so complicated. And I'm going to say that even further because above this is the Three of Coins energy. It was like a stop-start. The Three of Coins is also third-party energy. Okay? Whether you're noticing these things now, whether you have been noticing these themes in your life, there are spiritual wisdoms around third-party energy, interfering energy. You know, there's two sides to the truth, and then there is a third. That is the same sort of principle. There's a couple, and then there's a third energy. You know, there's my way, your way, and then the third energy that needs to be considered, whether that's another person. Take however it resonates, okay? This music's a little bit loud. It likes to peak. Take however it resonates, but I'm definitely connecting into Cancers that perhaps I kept feeling a chart between these energies, okay? Like I'm trying to make a start, a new beginning. Every time you wanted to make some form of new beginning, there was a block, okay? A brick wall, repeating patterns in many ways when it comes to selfishness, strategy, and emotional overwhelm and confusion. That's how I'm interpreting these two. But there was this spiritual lesson, this wisdom that was really trying to integrate. How much do you allow? How much do you allow, Cancer? Because just because you can carry the weight of an emotion or emotions, okay? Ideally speaking, the water signs, okay? Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, can achieve mastery of the emotional body, all right? And it is through this, Cancer, that many are attracted to you for your empathic ability, your compassion, your nurture. You do it as second nature. It is not overwhelming for you to have to share your emotional energy or assist others to dispel their emotional energy on several levels. You're doing it for this person, that person over here. You know, you're doing it without even thinking, taking that phone call, that text message, whatever the case may be. There's been strategies here about how your emotions have been manipulated and used against you. There's been a survival mechanism in which to better balance this on your part. This is about taking accountability. You know, I was only just speaking to a beautiful client the other day, and that empathic energy that we all have, that we do so, you know, and as I said, you know, when it comes to putting boundaries down, there's going to be that initial shock. There's going to be a bit of a tower moment, okay? There's going to be a bit of a disrupt, because when you first start saying no, when others are so used to you responding in the same way, it can be quite a shock. And then, you know, it's almost like, instead of being this emotional energy, there's this strategy energy that comes into play where, you know, where Cancers might be accused of whatever the case may be, which can really pull on the heartstrings when we're accused of something like this. Hey, Cancer, because that's not who you are fundamentally. And it goes without saying, there's always an option for a crab to use its claws, and everyone is aware of that. However, for all intents and purposes, they're scuttling along, staying out of conflict. They're just there to be part of that beach scenery, that beautiful beach scenery. But the essence of the Cancer, and this is what's been eclipsing, okay? The essence of the Cancer is more than just the crab. You're actually the tide. You are ruled by the moon. And your emotions can be that powerfully felt, all right? That it can move the emotions, the water bodies of another, severely, for better or worse. When you become a master of your own emotional body, you then are able to assist others, yes. But in that mastery is being able to identify how your compassion has been strategically used against you to the point of overwhelm, how you've allowed your emotional compassion to be stretched in all directions other than focusing on self. Just that one cup. By filling that one cup, rather than feeling like you have to fill that one, you know? There's an eclipsing here, Cancer, and it is massive. It's a spiritual lesson that you are awakening to this next level of yourself. More importantly, how others, when they do not know how to hold their emotional body, naturally, energetically, subconsciously seek energy that does know how to do so. Hence, you start walking in the realms of energy vampires, okay? But we need to take accountability for labels that we put onto others that we have allowed. There's a karmic balancing here. There was a third energy, okay? So take that however it resonates. Whether that's your story in the physical reality, there is a third interfering energy here that has been trying. And look at the darkness in the back here of the Three of Coins. There's something hidden and unknown, unseen. It was in your subconscious, okay? That could be quite practical. You might discover information about a third party, that you might have just suddenly become aware of an influence that you were never truly aware of, okay? But felt it subconsciously, all right? Something's coming out of the shadows here, and there's a genuine opportunity for a new beginning, but first something needs to be eclipsed so that we're not feeling overwhelmed. We're not feeling like we have to act in survival mode. We're not allowing the selfishness, lies, betrayal energy to infiltrate us anymore as a hidden third energy in our lives, okay? So that there isn't just a multitude of feeling overwhelmed and with option. We're actually getting clear when we drop karmic boundaries. Who's to say what is rightfully for the taking when a cup of love is offered? Who's to say what is rightfully the best way in which to offer our heartfelt exchange, Cancer? The Knight of Cups sits in your past. These boundaries, this lesson, this spiritual integration, this awakening has had to happen to completely reset the way in which love has been offered and received. Because it's that, you know, this retrograde energy is taking us back through the timeline, Cancer. We're getting to the depths of what intimacy means for us. We're getting to the depths of what connection, love, and that's not just romantic. It's the ways in which we connect to all, okay? How it was displayed to us, how it was shown to us, how it was taught to us. There was a brick wall that I kept feeling, okay? I was looking at these two cards. I was looking at this, I was looking at this, and there was a brick wall that I kept feeling, okay, because it's almost, this is also a start energy. But every time something was wanting to be started, there was a brick wall, all right? And it all comes down to the fact, and this is in the past, it all comes down to the fact of how love, okay? And when we're coming against brick walls, Cancer, it's about getting to the subconscious motivations, the deeper blueprint, okay, with what we were taught, what we learned, what we were shown, that is ultimately not right for us. This way in which we offer our cup to the point that it reaches overwhelm, okay, because others can be selfishly taking, because we're giving anyway. There are no boundaries. There's this overwhelm of extension of self, extension of empathy and compassion, and that's just who you are. You are the mother, you are the cosmic womb. You will help others womb their emotions. You will help others function their emotional body because they have not yet mastered that. Whatever the case is, okay, there was a continual brick wall when it comes to the giving and receiving of love. Because fundamentally, when we're looking, now look at this. Wow, it's funny how I see stuff in the cards that don't come up otherwise unless I'm intuitively channeling. Like, who's been in a connection or relationship where you see the soul light in another, you see potential? We all have empaths. Look at all this sun energy. This is strong clarity of knowing that, yeah, I know their behavior's bad. I know that they're... But then choosing compassion above all else, choosing empathy above all else, but not empathy for self. That's just all they can give because that's where they're at. And they've been through pain before, and that's why they're behaving that way. And we're seeing things with clarity, but not with the stark clarity that is needed, Cancer, yeah? We're connecting into the soul light, to the the higher self of another, when in reality, what is right there front and center, the actions that are shown or not shown, the words that are delivered that we do not completely take on as realistically. If someone says, for example, I'm not interested in a committed relationship, we take them for their word. It's as simple as that, you know? Despite the fact that all the fluff and it's beautiful and sweet, and that's how you get trapped into an imbalanced dynamic of unmet needs, where this constant giving is happening, this constant compassion and empathy and open-hearted like that's a full tap of love that I can just tap into and access and take from whenever I need. Because there are no boundaries there. It's not conditional. Because that person sees the soul light in me, so I can just get whatever I want. And they'll never put up a boundary line. Even though I'm being honest and I've said what I needed to say, and this is who I am, and yes, my childhood wounds and my past and the difficult life I've had, whatever, Cancer. I'm feeling real mama bear here today. Because that's what this is about. This is about Cancers eclipsing all the times in which you forgot to nurture self. You forgot to take people at their word. You forgot to believe the reality you were shown because you were so focused on empathy, so focused on compassion. You were so focused on this soul light of potential. So I'll stick it through. I'll wade it through. There's so many ways in which I can make decisions that I begin to feel overwhelmed. Okay? Do I love? Do I show tough love by putting a boundary down? Is that going to bring them into darkness and into a sense of not feeling love because I've now decided to put a boundary line around? You know, there's this overwhelming eclipsing that had to happen, Cancer. How many connections in your life, okay? Romantic, friendship, family, whatever the case may be, where you emotionally felt and knew on so many different levels that that open heart was just being taken and it was not being equally reciprocated, okay? It's not about martyrdom. It's not about being a martyr. I can't even speak English today. It's not about victimization or victimhood. It's about clearly identifying the ways in which you have allowed others free access to that emotional energy that you emit of compassion. You have wombed them. You have mothered them to the point that they just take. And they will continue to until it is stopped. Whether you are dealing, okay, with lies, betrayals, third-party energy, whether that's your history, whether that's your current, whether you are dealing with this, you know, feeling pulled between your children and your career, whatever the case, it's third-party energy. Blocks to starts, all right? Apply it however it resonates. That story is relevant for so many, okay? Something could never have possibly started with this shady stuff around. That was glaringly obvious, okay? Something had to go before a genuine start can be made, before a genuine cup of love can be truly recognized for what it is, because this comes from the same place, okay? When someone extends their heart, all that they are, it comes from the same place as when they extend their projections. That's a projection, that's a heart expression. And it comes from the same place. Does that make sense? So it's easy as an empath, it's easy as someone that's so focused on compassion and understanding to mistake the filters that are so glaringly obvious. What's likely to happen next? The Hierophant. There are spiritual wisdoms here to be gained, a spiritual way in which to see the path, the situation, the options moving forward. This could be in relation to a marriage-like commitment. You might be connecting into a Taurus, okay? You might be connecting into Libra. You might have those placements in your chart. What's been at play is the Magician and the Ten of Swords. This is huge, guys. This is huge. When I see these next to each other, especially with this card, the manipulation energy 101. Okay? I don't read reversals, but when I'm interpreting the energy here, there is an ending. There's a separation, guys. There's an ending, okay? Ending to the BS that you have always intuitively known that needed to end, okay? When you ignore your intuition, it will always lead to this regardless. We make these head-heart decisions in life. Always. We're always at a crossroads to be able to do so. If the heart could not offer this, perhaps in many ways there were cancers out there that still allowed this. They knew that their energy was being manipulated. They knew that others were operating from trauma, from pain, from, it's the love we give, it's the love we've been given. If our experience of love has been tainted in some way, polluted by pain, what reading was I doing? It was the Scorpio beginning of June reading, so the first 2 weeks of June, where I talked about the Three of Swords and the Six of Cups. We can be handed dark times, okay? How much do we allow those dark times to taint the love we then offer? That happens a lot. It's actually very common, Cancer. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of awakening, yeah? To not then extend ourselves in the same way that has been experienced by us, okay? Hurt people. But who puts a stop to the karma? There has to be a choice. There has to be a stopping point, okay? So that something can genuinely start. And if we're attracting the same kind of partnerships, the same kind of issues, the same energetic themes, okay? Whether this is mirrored in family, career, romance, whatever the case is, an ending had to happen, and an ending has happened and will happen this month. And it all comes down to the ways in which you have connected, the ways in which you have allowed yourself to journey through dark times in order to truly realize this, but never getting there. And we never get there, Cancer, because it's been glaringly obviously from the beginning, because we've been compassionate, we've trusted that just because someone is hurt, that we're understanding their hurtful behavior towards us. No. Allow them to be sovereign in their own experience and their own healing journey. We do not have to be the emotional body for everyone in our lives. Because this is about you. This is about you experiencing divine love. Now, make no mistake, divine love happens in here first. It is the gentle, sorry, I'm not available. It is the firm, no more. It is the open-hearted, yes, I trust, regardless of what will happen. Divine love happens in here first, Cancer, before it can happen outside of ourselves. And, when the Lovers card shows up, I always get really drawn to 5D energy or unconditional love concepts, okay? And perhaps the only relationships in our lives right now, in the level of consciousness we are all at in the collective, is unconditional love can possibly be achieved between a parent and child. But we hear also that doesn't get achieved many times too, yeah? It's almost impossible to realize unconditional love or the agape kind of love in our external connections, in a romantic connection. How can we truly love someone unconditionally? Especially if we're loving from the shadows and allowing behaviors, or we're strategically taking for whatever selfish reason, yeah? We're dealing with shadow self stuff. So this has to happen internally first before we can experience it truly on the outside of us. And sometimes we have to truly invoke the energy of the Queen of Swords. She is the Ice Queen, okay? There's no more allowing, no more BS. She deals with conflict straight away as soon as it arises, and it does not affect her emotional body. So if I'm connecting to Cancers that have recently ended, that will be ending, This dynamic where you allow shady behavior, lies, deceit, to impact your emotional body on an intuitive level, you know, okay? Any of these sort of influencing energies where you allow the spiritual lessons to bypass your experience here on the 3D, you will never be able to manifest that which you seek. Truly. And this is not just about romantic love. This is unconditional, open-hearted love, which is important to a Cancer to give of themselves because they see the need and they actually need to give an open heart. It is a fundamental part of who you are. You know, as a master of the emotional body, that is a Cancer or a Scorpio or a Pisces, greatest realization to experience the transformative effects of their emotional body and how nurturing, okay? You are the cosmic womb, Cancer. You are the mother. How nurturing that truly can be for the growth of another. But when you are no longer growing, when you are no longer being nurtured, there is a choice. There is a choice that fundamentally must be made because it becomes tainted anyway. The love that you give then becomes tainted with the shadow elements. And it's not about abdicating blame, but yes, it's instigated by the fears of another, but then you become part and parcel of that story. How often, as sensitive empaths, do we become like the narcissist, if you like? We would not recognize that behavior unless it is a part of us. They would just be completely foreign. We would not be attracting it to us if it didn't need to be mirrored. We, you know, even for the fact that we had to attract to us the lesson about how much we allow it in our lives, Cancer. And deep inside, all a Cancer really wants to be able to do is share their shell, share their heart. And they want the whole world to know that you don't have to keep protecting themselves in a shell. So you need to do that first, Cancer. And the way in which you do that is by saying no to this, okay? By putting an end, a karmic, permanent end to the old version of you that did say yes to that on many levels, on some levels, on any levels. You end the month with the Queen of Swords energy, okay? Because you have been focused on manifesting, you've been focused on manifesting a true ending. You've been focused on manifesting a true ending so that you could experience divine love and truly integrate a head and heart decision here. We're not just making heartfelt decisions that are ultimately polluting the heart chakra, because then we're starting to play into guilt and fear and feeling responsible for the emotions of another person or whatever the case may be. It's no more, Cancer. This has been eclipsed. This old way of loving, carrying your emotional body, feeling the need to nurture and carry the emotional bodies of all others is ending. What made the Queen of Swords into the Ice Queen? Maybe at one point as she traveled through the tarot, she was the Queen of Cups. And she had enough. I'm feeling feisty with my lovely Cancers. Okay? Whether you become aware of stuff that needs to end, whether you become aware of stuff that you were unaware of, okay? Spiritual principles are at play here, Cancer. Spiritual wisdoms are being integrated. Whether this is the theme for your whole life, the last 2 years of your life, okay? Take it however it resonates. It is an end to control energy or anything where we are dealing with controlling energy. Holding on to stuff, holding on to truth, holding on to things that are impractical, not believing that we can get our 10 of coins and sitting fundamentally in the 4 and holding on to that and calling that valuable. And it is valuable, yes, but it's not the 10. Okay, so that's why it's also controlling energy. It's a controlling energy of ourselves, controlling energy of others, where they withhold, lie, whatever the case is. And you intuitively know this, Cancer. There's a tangible gift here this month for a new beginning, okay? This is no longer the 3 of coins. It's the Page. There's an offer here. this situation, this experience, this ending is a tangible offer for you to truly step in to you, to your empowered emotional body. It is beautiful and transformative when we swim to the depths of the emotional body. But to truly master it and know it, we must know its potency, its creativity, its gentleness. We must know it of all its corners and features, yeah? To get to the king and queen levels, we have mastered it on some level. We have mastered it on all levels. There's a tangible offer here as the month closes, okay? For you to make a beginning of you stepping into the essence of you, your Queen of Cups energy. Wow. This might be applying to a commitment. This might be applying to an offer when it comes to your career, okay? All of this energy applies to all areas of your life and connections, Cancer. All right, there's a genuine assessment here of your journey thus far. You will do the work this month, okay? When it comes to the Seven of Coins energy, that's assessment mode. That's I'm willing to really count my pennies, count my what's valuable to me, okay? What's worth keeping in my picture, so that I can really determine what's worth sharing too. I am almost at my 10 of Coins. Your 10 of Coins is your dynasty, okay? Whereas in the past, this is all you've been given and you were satisfied with that. Whether it's the energetic exchanges, whether it's the treatment, the emotional exchanges, whether it's the tangible offerings that were on the table prior to this point in your timeline, Cancer. And you were satisfied with that, and you held on to it, and you allowed it, you justified it, yeah? But you realize you've done so much more yourself. You are now at the 7 of Coins. And you're assessing how far you have come. You're assessing who you will share your 10 of Coins with, because that time will come, guaranteed. Lots of communications, okay? Online communications, messages, text messages, falling in love with life again, falling in love with your path, okay? The 8 of Wands offers a reboost, okay, to your passion for path and purpose, and definitely a lot of communications about getting your wish fulfillment. This ending is necessary, whatever this is, this third-party energy, this interfering energy, this niggling thing that's been a part of your life and your personality for a long time, perhaps, okay? Take it however it resonates. This is either a long-standing story or a new one, whatever. It needs to end so that you can truly assess and get real with what it is that is worth bringing, okay? Worth sharing your shell with, getting your wish fulfillment, your commitment, what you're willing to commit to, the dynamics, the entanglements, the relationships, the circumstances, work, romantic or otherwise. It's about long-term success and getting very, very clear in our assessments about who is worth taking with us on that journey. Because the ones that never supported never will. Yeah? Putting an end to competition and putting an end to conflict. Because that's how you end your reading. The Queen of Swords. She doesn't even engage. She doesn't even engage. Okay? Feeling like you have to defend something is not even going to come into your peripheral. Because this beginning is yours. You will only engage in heartfelt expressions, communication, connections, genuine reciprocity, authenticity. No lies, no deceit, no bullshit. None of this no more allowing of this stuff. Okay? You've learned a lot. You've learned a lot, and it is time to truly eclipse anything and everything that resembles those lessons. Why do we have to keep repeating? Are we testing the water to see if it's still too cold? It's not where you belong. And those dynamics are not where you belong either, Cancer. Getting into your wisdom, like I said, this could be a 7 to 10 year story, all right? Really getting to the heart of the matter and being guided by that wisdom has been a very big part of this ecliptical cycle for you. you know, and how much you can achieve on your own with the Nine of Coins energy. There might be a Virgo that's relevant in your picture, or a Gemini. Did I mention that with the Lovers card? This is about your 1111 card and your divine beginning. There you go. There's the King of Swords, okay? This is about an upgrade and awakening to your level of consciousness so you can truly see from a mind level, not just a heart level, so that you could actually reignite that divine spark. There's the Five of Wands. That's how we want to experience. See this Five of Wands? Conflict. But when you take one out, it becomes the divine spark of the Ace of Wands, and the other four are an awakening. You got to remove something here. There's something that will be removed this month. All right, my lovely Cancer. Awakening. What a beautiful end to the month. It's very empowering, very firm, very... If you don't resonate, if you are not authentic, if you are not honest, if you aren't willing to give what you receive, then you are not aligned to me and you are out. That's what I'm feeling. Truths get revealed, decisions get made, things end, and things just as quickly begin too. Watch how quickly you will draw forward to you everything that is aligned to you when you decide you will no longer allow everything that does not. And you intuitively know this, Cancer. You intuitively know it. It is a vortex, okay? It is a vacuum. The minute you clear your path of that which you have outgrown, that which does not resonate, does not mirror you, okay? Does not give what you give, then you will make space for that which does. So that you can go with the flow, my dear. That beautiful green heart chakra energy. Find an easier path forward. Surrender the outcome. Release your expectations. Trust that this is a consciousness upgrade, my lovely Cancer. I love your final 2 weeks. I love how you are experiencing your solar eclipse, your new moon, and your Mercury retrograde. Don't be afraid of saying no to anything that does not align to you. Glow. Have a great 2 weeks, final 2 weeks of June, and I will see you in July for your monthly reading. Take care. Namaste.